We spend roughly 60% of our communication time listening, but we're not very good at it. We retain. But that's not all. Sound places us in space and in time. If you close your eyes right now in this room, you're aware of the size of the room from the reverberation and the bouncing of the sound off the surfaces. And you're aware of how many people are around you because of the micro noises you're receiving. And
Okay, so listening sound is actually able to place us in space and in time. We're able to focus on if the person's able to close their eyes, they're able to hear, how big the room is by the reverberations of sound in the room. They would be able to pick up how many people are there just by the micro noises that they're able to hear. For example, someone walking around, someone stepping. They would be able to hear if someone coughs, if someone laughs, if someone disagrees, if someone boos, if someone applauds. They're also able to hear the speaker in front of them. And basically, time and space with sound can make it more declarative. Sound is actually an access to time. Are there birds chirping? Are there cars driving by? A person is able to extract placement. For example, if you're in a hospital, you can hear the beeping of machines, the rolling of carts, the doctors talking in medical jargon. You can tell by, if you close your eyes, by listening, if you're in a school, by the bells, by what's being talked about, by the kids talking, by intercom messages. If you were in a anatomy college class, you would be able to know, if you close your eyes, that you're in an anatomy class by the actual context and schema and the people and the way they interacted with what they needed to do. If a person was in a kitchen and they close their eyes, they can hear the clinking of the pans, the food cooking, meat sizzling. They would be able to hear people walking back and forth, the waiters and waitresses and the chefs yelling the orders to either be picked up or what orders need to be made. The person would be able to time-wise tell if a person finished doing something by hearing them move around very busily, making a lot of noise, and all of a sudden stop. You could tell that they were either taking a break or they actually finished. So one can make assumptions about where they are in time and where they are in space by actually listening to the sounds around them.
Sound places us in time as well, because sound always has time embedded in it. In fact, I would suggest that our listening is the main way that we experience the flow of time from past to future.
So sound, Julian Treasure is talking about how sound is a marker for time. It is a way that a person can experience the flow of time. From a beginning, middle, and end, they're able to experience time through a linear capacity because of the fact that it's embedded with time markers. So, for example, if a woman's giving birth, a time marker could possibly be that, she's moaning and groaning because of contraction and labor pains, and you hear a lot of screaming and yelling, and then all of a sudden you hear a baby cry. That's a time marker that this woman just went through the labor and she actually now has a baby. So it's just started off with before a baby was born to actually now a baby being born.
So sonority is time and meaning, a great quote. I said at the beginning we're losing our listening. Why did I say that? Well, there are a lot of reasons for this. First of all, we invented ways of recording. First, writing, then audio recording, and now video recording as well. The premium on accurate and careful listening has simply disappeared.
So the reason why we are not listening as much as what we used to do is because of the ability to record sound. So if we're able to write, then we're able to record a person telling a story, a person telling about a historical moment in time, a person being able to record their feelings to another person, or a legal situation. The ability to also audio record can basically make our listening skills less, because we have the ability to play back the information. So if a person doesn't want to pay attention in class, they can actually just record the actual class and just play it back later. So they're able to use it as a tool. So their listening does not have to be that good, but also it can actually be used as a good tool, because if a person is not able to pay attention long enough to retain information, or they have a hearing problem, or they may not have even been in class, it's a tool that can actually give back the person time that was basically missed, sounds that were missed. Then the ability for video recording now is taking away our listening and our ability to pay attention to the actual person in front of us, or the situation in front of us. But also it can be played back so that a person who may have missed something, or body language can be actually determined, the person's mood, gesturing. Let's see what else. So because of technology, listening skills for society has taken a dive. Listening is losing its strength because there's so many ways to bring back those lost sounds, bring back that time that a person should have been listening and paying attention to, but now because of technology, they're able to rely on that. And that reliance has created complacency.
Secondly, the world is now so noisy, with this cacophony going on visually and auditorily. It's just hard to listen. It's tiring to listen. Many people take refuge in headphones.
So the world has become more noisy and visually much more stimulating. So because of the ability to have so much visual stimuli, and because the world has become so much noisier, like traffic, people, general everyday sounds, people are starting to get tired of actually listening. Because of the listening, people are not able to focus, and because they're not able to focus, they become tired because they're constantly paying attention, which therefore makes them tired. And at a certain point, people have now given up, saying, well, if I can record this, or if I can block this out, then I'm going to choose to do so. So listening skills will take a hit because the practice of listening is now lost. It's becoming less and less used or depended on, because the everyday world is so exhausting. So because the everyday world is so exhausting, then when it really counts, people are not going to be able to step up to the plate, because their skills have become so... the lactic acid has basically built. They're not able to, their listening skills are not sharp enough, so that when they do have to listen, it's become actually more of an obstacle than a tool to help them. So because of technology, and because of technology and then the everyday noises, these two have both blended together to make a damper on the listening skills and their sharpness. Because everyday world is so noisy that now people are becoming tired, so now they give up.
But they turn big public spaces like this, shared soundscapes, into millions of tiny little personal sound bubbles. In this scenario, nobody's listening to anybody. We're becoming impatient. We don't want oratory anymore. We want sound bites. And the art of conversation is being replaced dangerously, I think, by personal broadcasting. I don't know how.
So, because of the creation of headphones, and the world being and adding on with more time and technology, the world is having now to rely on headphones to create their own personal sound bubble. So if a person is on a bus and the bus is too loud, or there's sounds that are just exhausting to keep processing through the brain, because sound is a mental process, people are now putting in headphones to block everything out. And because they're blocking everything out, nobody's now listening to anybody. Nobody is able to engage with other people or listen in general, because once again, those skills are now being put to rest because it's so exhausting to listen. So the ability to put in headphones, block out the world, is now creating a problem, so that people are being basically disconnected from the world of listening, but from the world of sound. So now, because no one's talking to nobody, or nobody is talking to anybody anymore, there's no more interactions. Now personal broadcasting is now a new form of making sure that one is heard. Now social interaction is a huge, vital, important need that humans must fulfill. So if they're not getting their listening and interactions with each other, then there has to be a move where a person feels like they're being heard. Listening and being heard are two completely different things. So, and everybody wants to make sure that their 2 cents gets put in. So if a person's not doing personal broadcasting, they're being able to put out whatever they want to put out to make sure that it's connected to them. Or, technology now is playing another role in the listening ability, and if anything, putting more hindrance on it.